Studio Series Starscream is the sixth figure to be released as part of this brand new Takara Tomy and Hasbro collaboration. This is Starscream based on his appearance from the very first live-action Transformers movie, all the way back in 2007. In this review, I'm going to be giving you a detailed look at the figure in both his robot mode as well as his jet mode. I'm going to be showing you a detailed look at the backdrop, the packaging, and going through the transformation. Starting off with the front of the packaging, we've got a very nice picture of Starscream. It does state that he is 06 in the line, Takara Tomy and Hasbro. The side of the packaging has a larger image of Starscream looking really cool like he did in that very first Transformers movie. The back of the packaging showcases Starscream in the robot mode as well as the jet mode. It states that he transforms into 26 steps. We've got some other figures available in the line. It does state that he has got a backdrop included. He is big screen inspired and he is from the Mission City battle. His bio reads, "Starscream soars amid skyscrapers with tactical precision to annihilate opponents." And it does say that he is a Lockheed Martin jet, so this is an officially licensed jet mode. Finally, the other side of the box just states Studio Series, a close-up of Starscream, and that he is figure number 06. Now, as with every Studio Series figure, they will include a backdrop from the scene that they are based upon. This is obviously the Mission City battle from the climactic ending of Transformers 1. This is very similar to the backdrop that comes with Ratchet, only this time it has been blown up to scale more appropriately with the Voyagers. And finally, here we have Starscream himself. I can't believe that it has nearly been 8 years since Starscream was last featured in any of the Transformers movies, unless you include his cameo, very brief cameo in The Last Night where his head was shown to be collected by Day Trader. This figure is completely brand new and is inspired upon that Dark of the Moon deluxe class figure. However, every element to the figure is brand new and the transformation is the only thing that is really similar. Bringing it in for some detailing, as you can see that it is impeccably well detailed and definitely does capture that Dorito-esque shape of Starscream. As this is based on his 07 appearance, he doesn't have the alien tattoos to many's preference. However, I do actually prefer the alien tattoos. He has some amazing detailing all throughout the torso section. His head has been detailed impeccably well. It would have been nice if they could have included a Decepticon insignia on his head crest. However, it's not a major drawback. The arms have got so much sculpted in detailing and even the hands have been detailed very, very nicely. The legs are very cool as well. You've got all the different panels going all throughout. And overall, the detail on this figure is just very, very well done. Turning it around, the kibble is very minimal. He literally has next to none. And the back even has some detailing as well, just to make him look visually appealing from behind as well. The back of the legs too have some detailing. So overall for detail, Starscream is fantastic. Now, turning to the articulation of the figure, Starscream is once again extremely impressive. His head is on a swivel joint, it can look left to right, and due to transformation you can get some up movement, however you cannot bring the head down. The arms are on a series of hinges, so you've got this hinge here due to transformation, you've then got the actual arm hinge allowing you to bring it all the way out and inwards. You can also rotate 360 degrees. There's also a swivel just below where the shoulder section would be, and there is also a hinge there as well which allows you to bring it forwards and all the way backwards. There is also a second elbow joint there which can help you bring the arms in, so you can get some really dynamic poses with these arms. And then finally for the arms, the hands are on a ball joint, so you can manipulate those in a variety of different ways. Unfortunately, there is no waist articulation. However, due to how the figure transforms, I can't really see how they would have implemented it into the figure. For the legs can kick forwards and backwards all the way. They can hinge outwards all the way as well. Due to transformation, you can hinge them backwards ever so slightly just to give him a different look on the shelf. As Starscream does have these very odd looking legs, chicken legs, you can also articulate these in a variety of different ways. There is a hinge joint here which allows you to kick it forwards and backwards, as well as another hinge joint which you can kick it forwards and backwards as well. There is some toe articulation, however that is mainly due to transformation. And finally there is a swivel just below the final joint for the foot. So overall for articulation, Starscream is absolutely astounding. Now, before I get into the transformation and size comparisons, Starscream does come with one accessory, that being his missile pod or missile rack that we see him use in all of the movies that Starscream is in. As you can see, it is yet again detailed amazingly well as well. You can pick out the missiles decked out in a copper paint with this kind of baronet sticking out in a different shade of plastic, just to give this some personality. As if it was all one colour, it would look fairly bland. There is a few ways that you can actually implement this into the figure. The main way is actually transforming the hand. So here what you would want to do is there is a small tab in the inside of his hand that is going to plug into the forearm. You simply want to bring this joint upwards all the way and then use the ball joint and just tab it on. It doesn't look the best from this angle, however when you implement the missile it will become fairly hidden. Now on the missile there is some clips. These will literally just slide into these slots in his arms like that, and once you just push them in, you've got Starscream with his missile weapon. Now if I was to have one complaint about the missile weapon, is that it does look fairly small when on the figure, and I definitely would have preferred it if they would have included his buzzsaw accessory that was originally shown way back in November. However, there is rumours that this is going to be re-released for a Dark of the Moon deco, so I definitely think that we'll get the buzzsaw accessory then. The other way that you can implement this into the figure is that it does have a port which can plug onto either of Starscream's forearms. So yet again, you can have it stored on the arms in a variety of different ways. Or if you don't want it implemented on the figure at all, there is weapon storage on the back. He does have a variety of different ports. You can just plug it into the back like so, and that's your weapon storage. So overall, the weapon and the weapon integration is very cool. For a size comparison, here is Starscream with the rest of the Wave 1 Deluxes as well as the Studio Series Optimus Prime. As you can see, Starscream here is the largest out of all of the figures, which I actually think is accurate considering that he is a jet and the others are small cars and a truck. Overall, I think that this scale works perfectly. For one final comparison, here is Studio Series Starscream next to the original 2007 Voyager class Starscream. As you can see, in 11 years they have come so far in the engineering development of this character. This brand new Studio Series figure is just a lot more sleeker, a lot more tidier, and 10 times more movie accurate than the original version. There is no doubt that Studio Series Starscream can easily replace that 2007 Voyager Starscream. One more size comparison that I want to quickly carry out is between Studio Series Starscream and the Leader Class Starscream from the Hunt for the Decepticons toy line. As you can see, the Leader Class Starscream is still considerably larger than that Voyager, as it really should be. However, the one good thing about Studio Series Starscream is how sleek he manages to be. Whilst I still think the Leader is the better version, the sleekness on the brand new Voyager just shows that they are improving their molds and their engineering every step of the way. I still prefer this due to the size and the details, but Studio Series Starscream is still definitely a fantastic figure and is highly movie accurate. To conclude the overall robot mode for Starscream, if you haven't already guessed, I think it's fantastic. The engineering and the refining of the design has been implemented impeccably well into this figure. The articulation, the detail and the accuracy is all ace, and he's definitely one of my favourite movie Voyagers to date. I love the inclusion of his missile rack. Whilst I do think it is on the small side, it's still a fantastic inclusion, and the figure wouldn't be the same without his signature weapon. I also think that he scales appropriately with the other Studio Series figures, and I definitely am looking forward to getting that Revenge of the Fallen Voyager Megatron to scale amongst him. Now, turning to the transformation of the figure, it is not as involved nor as complex as that previous Studio Series Optimus Prime that I very recently took a look at. If you have the original Deluxe Class DOTM Starscream or Thundercracker mold, then you definitely know what to expect with this figure. However, it is intricate enough to keep you interested. Now, firstly, you want to fold the hands into the forearms as I showed earlier on with the accessories. So simply just fold them in like so. We want to straighten out the head joint. Moving down to the legs, we want to pivot the toes all the way down, just like that. We want to bring these sections straight like that. And these slots here will tab into those tabs on the upper thigh. They'll simply just plug in really snugly and very securely. Repeat the same process on the other side. And then we want to rotate both of these backwards like so. Turning it around, there is a tab there that will plug into a slot there. In order to solidify the back section, you just want to plug it in and already we can see some really cool details of jet exhausts. For the next step, we want to rotate the figure around and just detach this back panel. It's not integral to transformation just yet, however it does help to free up some of those joints. I then like to fold down this crutch section, lift this back section all the way up, and now we're going to begin rotating this back into its proper place. In order to do this, we just need to push the head backwards and bring it all the way up, and it should line up like that. It will then expose this panel. I tend to keep it rested down just to help keep clearance, and then finally fold that panel up, and we have completed essentially the nose of the jet. Turning this section around, we now want to focus on these pieces. So we want to bring those down, fold these inwards all the way, and then finally fold that so it sits flush with the wings. Want to completely repeat that process on the other side, and now we are beginning to progress deeper into the transformation. The next step is to work on the arms. In order to do this, it does take a bit of finagling. You will have to try and get used to it. These arms here are on joints that hinge inwards, so you're going to want to hinge those inwards, and then at the same time bring this all in like that, just so that it all collapses in upon itself. You essentially want this to sit flush with this so that it can be brought in to this section here. With that in, we then have some tabs. Now it's probably clear if I show you on this side. There is one of these on that side. There is a tab on the arm that will plug into there. You need to flatten this forearm piece out and really apply some pressure to plug it in, and it will sit flush. There is then a plug on the hand that will plug into that plug there, and with that pegged in, we can repeat the exact same process on the other side. With both of the arms folded into the jet as close as possible, we can now fold down this piece that will cover up the head and just make the jet look sleeker. It will also fill in these sections to make this black panel line up a lot better. We can then collapse this section back in, and we're near enough done with the transformation now. Now this is all about lining up. We have some tabs there that will peg into these ports here. In order to do this, you want to set this and bring it all the way back and just tab it into place like so. We then want to lift these up just to allow for some clearance, and these pieces will push all the way down just like that. And believe it or not, there you have Starscream in his jet mode. Now for a Voyager class jet, the transformation is very sleek, and the overall jet is also very sleek as well. There's not much in terms of undercarriage. It doesn't look that ugly from the underneath whatsoever. It still is very sleek and does look like an elegant fighter jet. For detailing, there is this kind of different wash colour variation all throughout, with some kind of blue in colour and some lighter and darker greys. There's also a very nice Decepticon symbol there, as well as this symbol, which unfortunately I'm not aware of its purpose. The cockpit has been picked out in a translucent yellow plastic, and you can make out the pilot's seat in there. We can also see on the back of the jet that we do have thrusters. So overall, the jet mode is very well done and extremely detailed. Now, of course, no jet would be complete without landing gear. If you come onto the underside of the nose cone, you can pull this down just like that, and it will come all the way down. And then these pieces here will pull out as well. And there you have landing gear in order for you to prop the jet when you wish to display it. Now, I would have preferred it if they would have perhaps used proper rolling wheels, as majority of the Revenge of the Fallen figures did have that. However, as these back ones here make up the heel spurs for the robot mode, I can see how that would compromise the stability when having the figure in the robotic mode. Weapon implementation in this mode is very straightforward and quite similar to that of the robot mode. There is a series of different ports under here, so if you so choose to have this in like a battle mode, you can plug it in and make out as if the jet was firing missiles. Or there are some slots there that will tab into these tabs here. They simply just line up, and you can position them so that you can have the missile rack coming out the back of the jet, which doesn't look too obtrusive and does definitely blend in fairly nicely. Unfortunately, I don't have any jets to hand that I have transformed, so for comparison, I will be comparing it with the Evasion mode Optimus Prime, which is a flat-nosed truck. As you can see, Starscream is a lot larger than the truck, as he really should be, so this is a very well-scaled jet with other figures from different toy lines. To conclude this review, I highly recommend that you pick up this Studio Series Starscream. Out of the first wave of Deluxes and the first wave of Voyagers that I've picked up, he's by far the best out of all the figures that I've collected from this line so far. The robot mode as well as the jet mode are extremely detailed and extremely accurate to what we see in that '07 movie. The transformation is very fun yet familiar if you have picked up previous versions of Starscream, and I just overall love this figure. The articulation is fantastic, the paint is fantastic. Although I would have preferred it if we would have got the tattooed version first, I am glad that they've still given us this variant just to add some more figures to our '07 lineup. I do have the leaders on pre-order and I am expecting those to come in within the next few weeks, so stay tuned for the reviews of the Studio Series Blackout as well as the Studio Series Grimlock. I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you did, please like the video, share it and comment down below. Until my next review, I'll see you again later.